Big changes in life rarely come from one giant leap. They come from something much simpler. Consistency. Picture a man at the foot of a mountain. Step by step, he climbs. Alone, each step looks small, but together they take him to the top. That steady step, repeated daily, is what changes everything. This video explores the one habit that beats talent, luck, and even intelligence: consistency. From world-class athletes to everyday people, it's the simple act of showing up again and again that turns dreams into reality. Why consistency beats motivation. Motivation feels exciting. It's the spark that gets you started, but it doesn't last. Some mornings you feel unstoppable, other days you struggle to get out of bed. If you rely only on motivation, your results will be as unpredictable as your mood. Consistency works differently. It's about building a rhythm, not waiting for inspiration. That's why the most successful people in the world don't depend on motivation. They depend on habits. Take Kobe Bryant, for example. He was known for being in the gym at 4 a.m., practicing long before anyone else showed up. Was he motivated every day? But he was consistent. And that consistency built him into one of the greatest athletes in history. The power of small action. Most people think success is about big moves, but real success comes from small actions repeated over time. Read just 10 pages of a book every day. At first, it seems like nothing, but in 1 year, you've finished 12 full books, saved $5 daily. In 10 years, you've quietly built over $18,000. This is called the compound effect. Like money growing with interest, daily actions multiply. Real-life examples of consistency. Consistency shows up everywhere. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb in a single moment of genius. He tested thousands of designs, failing again and again until one worked. Serena Williams didn't become a tennis legend by practicing only when she felt like it. She trained every single day through pain and exhaustion, and it's not just about famous names. Think of a student who studies an hour each day instead of cramming the night before, or a writer who types just 300 words daily, finishing a full book in a year, or someone who decides to walk 20 minutes every evening, slowly transforming their health. Consistency makes results predictable. If you keep showing up, change is guaranteed. The science behind consistency works not only because of discipline, but also because of how our brains are wired. Every time we repeat an action, we strengthen a pathway in the brain. At first, doing something new feels awkward, like forcing yourself to write, exercise, or study. But with each repetition, the brain lays down stronger connections, making the action easier and more automatic. This is how habits are born. But over time, brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, or checking your phone in the morning all feel natural because your brain has been trained. The same rule applies to positive habits. Scientists call this process neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change itself. It's why small daily actions, no matter how simple, can rewire your entire life. Why consistency outshines talent. Many people believe talent is the deciding factor for success, but history shows otherwise. Talent might give someone a head start, but without consistency, it fades. Consider two students. One is naturally gifted, but studies only when motivated. The other struggles at first, but reviews lessons daily. By the end of the year, the consistent student outperforms the talented one. The same happens in sports, business, and creative work. Consistency is the great equalizer. Famous stories of consistency. Look at J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. She wasn't an overnight success. She wrote the first book as a struggling single mother, often writing in cafes while her baby slept. Rejection after rejection came, but she kept writing. Her consistency turned one small idea into a global phenomenon. Another example is Steve Jobs. His obsession wasn't about grand speeches or sudden inspiration. It was his daily practice of refining products again and again until they were perfect. The iPhone wasn't invented in a single breakthrough. It was the result of thousands of consistent tweaks and improvements. Even in science, Albert Einstein described himself as not smarter than anyone else, just more curious and persistent. His consistency in thinking, experimenting, and questioning gave the world the theory of relativity. The danger of inconsistency. If consistency builds success, inconsistency quietly destroys it. Skipping one workout or one study session doesn't seem like a big deal, but when it becomes a pattern, the compound effect works against you. Just as small positive actions add up, so do small negative ones. Eating junk food once is harmless. Eating it daily becomes dangerous. Procrastinating on one task feels small. Procrastinating for weeks becomes failure. Inconsistency doesn't break you in a single moment. It slowly erases progress until you're back at zero. That's why consistency isn't just helpful, it's necessary. How to build consistency. Step-by-step consistency may sound simple, but living it daily can be tough. The key is to start small. Don't aim for giant leaps on day one. Instead, begin with actions so tiny they're almost impossible to skip. Want to get fit? Start with just 5 push-ups a day. Want to read more? Begin with 2 pages each night. Want to save money? These small steps build momentum, and momentum is what makes consistency stick. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains this idea as making habits obvious and easy. If you want to eat healthier, keep fruit visible on the counter. If you want to exercise, lay your workout clothes out the night before. Design your environment to remind you of your goals, and the habit becomes easier to follow. Discipline versus environment. People often think consistency is about pure willpower, but willpower alone is weak. It fades under stress, fatigue, or distraction. The real secret is shaping your environment so staying consistent feels natural. For example, if you're trying to cut down on junk food, don't keep chips or soda in the house. If you want to write more, keep a notebook by your bed. If you want to spend less time on your phone, set screen limits or move distracting apps off the home screen. Discipline matters, but environment is the hidden force that makes discipline easier. The more you align your surroundings with your goals, the more natural consistency becomes, turning consistency into identity. Here's the most powerful part. Consistency doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you believe you are. When you consistently write, you stop thinking of yourself as someone who tries to write. You become a writer. When you consistently exercise, you don't just work out. You become an athlete in your own life. When you consistently save money, you don't just save, you become someone who is financially responsible. You're no longer forcing yourself to act differently. You're simply acting like the person you now believe yourself to be. The ripple effect of consistency. One consistent habit can transform areas of life you didn't expect. For example, someone who starts running daily doesn't just get fit. They also become more disciplined, more confident, and often more organized in other parts of life. Consistency in one area spills over into others. It's like throwing a stone into a pond. The ripples travel far beyond the first splash. That's why people who build consistency often describe their lives as transformed, not just improved. Consistency in the face of setbacks. Of course, life will always throw challenges your way. Illness, failure, or unexpected problems can break your routine. The key is to remember that consistency is not about being perfect. It's about returning after setback. Missing one day is not failure. Missing 2 or 3 days is not failure. Failure happens only when you quit completely. The best achievers know this truth. Consistency is less about never breaking the chain and more about always coming back to it. Why consistency is the habit that changes everything. Consistency is the invisible thread running through every great success story. It's what allowed Edison to keep inventing after countless failures. It's what made Serena Williams a champion. It's what built empires, careers, and movements throughout history. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, young or old, talented or average. Consistency doesn't care where you start. And that's why it changes everything. Because anyone, anywhere can practice it. If you've ever felt like success is out of reach, remember this. You don't need to leap across mountains in a single day. You only need to take small steps and take them consistently. Read a little today, save a little today, work a little today, tomorrow, repeat. The results may feel invisible at first, but they are building quietly like bricks in a wall. One day, you'll look back and realize that those tiny daily actions built a life you once thought was impossible. So start today, stay consistent, because this one habit, the habit of showing up again and again, is the habit that truly changes everything. And if you found this video inspiring, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss more powerful stories and lessons like this. Together, we'll keep growing, one consistent step at a time.